Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Batman Arkham Knight figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are finally taking a look at none other than Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, our very first ever 1/6 scale Batgirl figure, and I for one am super excited to get her out here. Now I got mine from toyswonderland.com, link for that is of course down in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. What we're gonna do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art, and just like the rest of the Arkham line, we have a rendering of the character on the front of the box. This time it's of course Batgirl. We have a Batman Arkham Knight logo and this rough texture in the area where Batgirl is printed. On the side we have Batgirl in the Arkham Knight logo, and once again another shot on the back. Now you can flip open the front cover to reveal Gotham City and of course the figure herself. But we're not really here to dissect the box, we're more here to take a look at Batgirl. Now as I said in the intro, I have been so darn excited to get my hands on this figure. I am hoping that Hot Toys completes the Bat family with a Robin and the Nightwing that they've teased a few times now, but for now I'm going to be perfectly happy with Batgirl posing up alongside Batman. And here we have her. First in-hand impressions are very positive. I'm already noticing a few things that I wasn't expecting. We do have one tray though, so what we are going to do now is get all of her accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything she comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces. Now starting off with the display base first, it's the usual Hot Toys rectangular style base. We do have Batgirl on one side, Gotham on the other, plus the game's logo front and center. We also have that very same logo plus her name etched into this gorgeous metal nameplate. Up top we do have a regular crotch grabber. Now being a member of the Bat family, she of course comes with some Bat gadgets. The first of which is the in-game map projected on this holographic device. You can actually remove the translucent plastic piece, which is a nice touch, but I'm pretty sure y'all will be using this with the map already attached. You can see it says map/objective up the top and an image from the game. You also get the usual Arkham grappling gun. We've seen this a few times with the various Batman figures. It's suitably metallic, then there is some pitting on the surface. You can also remove this front section, but she doesn't come with any other attachments, unfortunately. You can though remove the little grappling hook and bringing in the wire section, install this in the front, and then have this kind of projected out. Now it's not the best looking thing in the world because it kind of just droops down. I would like for them to one day use an actual wire so you can pose it and get it to look even more awesome. But I guess it's nice for those of you who want to get creative. You also get two of the Arkham style batarangs. They don't fold, they're static pieces, but they are relatively sharp, so do be careful not to prick yourself. You also have some very shiny silver metallic on the outside edges, plus in the center. You do get two different Batgirl mouth plates. Don't worry, we'll take a much closer look at these on the figure herself, but just know they swap out magnetically. You get one neutral expression and one smirking one. Lastly, you get a full array of very interesting looking hands. There are these gold spline sections along the outside of her fingers, plus a ton of sculpted in texture on the palms themselves. What we are going to do now though is get Batgirl herself out here and take a closer look. Here we have her standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And this figure has been a long time coming. I remember when Hot Toys teased this back in SDCC 2019. It took them a couple of years to finally put her up for pre-order, and fast forward to 2021, here we have her. I love the way this figure looks. All the way back to when I was watching Batman the Animated Series as a young lad and Barbara Gordon stepped on screen as Batgirl, I was hooked. I love this character, and now I can finally have a 1/6 scale version of her to pose up alongside Batman. I do hope we get the rest of the team, but for now, yes, I'm extremely excited to finally add her to the display. What we are going to do now though is take her off the rotating turntable, punch in and take a closer look at the details. Here we have her up close and personal. Now it feels like we've been waiting forever for this version of Batgirl, and you're probably sitting there thinking, was this figure worth the wait? Well, I can only answer that question for me, and in saying that, yeah, I think she absolutely was. This figure is awesome. Now let's start off with the head sculpt first. I do want to talk about the rooted hair. Now usually I'm not a huge fan of rooted hair because I think it takes too long to style to get it looking just right. But for Batgirl, it simply drapes down the back. It's got a nice wave to it, and it's not too unruly. I mean, you can see it is a little bit frizzy, but because it just drapes down the back, it's not the focus, the center of attention. I'm perfectly fine with the way they did it. It pegs up underneath inside the cowl, so you can't see the scalp. It's a very clean connection. I also like the gradient to the darker and lighter orange colors. Now you do have swappable mouth plates, the first of which is just a regular neutral expression, but my favorite of the two is the smirking one. Now I'll definitely be having her displayed wearing this in my collection. Now I've never been a massive fan of the Arkham Knight Batgirl cowl. I don't really love these armor plates on her ears, but in saying that, it is accurate to the game. They've nailed it. It looks pretty much bang on to the CGI model. Now the cape is a separate piece, but it's pegged into the body. I'm not sure if it's actually using that very neat little bat logo pin to connect it in, but in the game that's how it's actually done. Now it is a multi-segmented piece with wires running down the vertical sections. It also has this very interesting glossy, grainy style paneling. This is just a print over the top of the pleathery material, and then on the inside we have this shiny metallic gold, which ties in perfectly with the rest of the armor. The upper torso is one rubbery piece, then you can see there is a break underneath the chest area where this is a separate unit. You also have various rivets and panel lines and details over the top, and the chest logo actually has some scuffing around the edges, which is a very nice touch. As for the gauntlets, they also have some scuffing and wear and tear on the surfaces. They are rather prickly, but luckily they're a softer rubber, so you shouldn't have any issues with breakages. The belt has another bat logo sculpted in the front. Say what you will about this busy style design for Batgirl, but her branding is on point. You've got a bat logo up the top, one on the chest, one on the belt, and then on the tops of her boots. Now the legs are actually pegged in separately to the body. That gives you the maximum range of motion without having to stress out the connection between the lower torso and the thighs themselves, so I'm a huge fan of the way they've done that. Now the belt is a separate piece, but it does feel relatively fixed. Now I'm sure if you wanted to, you could move this and heat this and basically shape it to however you'd like it to be. Now coming down to the boots, I love that they've done a split cut boot design. I'm sure you all knew I was going to mention it. Yes, you do have the maximum range of motion out of this joint down here, which is very similar to the way they've done Wonder Woman. So if you have the joint going forward and back, that's the range of motion you'll get, or you can turn it around and get it to move side to side. It's one of those hinge and swivel style joints. Plus, you do have some dirt and grime down in the crevices of her boots, and then a very small amount of tread detail on the underside. But yeah, overall, I am super happy with Batgirl. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Hot Toys Arkham Knight Batman and Batgirl. Now Batman is huge. He's an absolute beast. Don't let this fool you. Batgirl's not a teeny tiny figure. She's actually a relatively decent size. But because Batman is such a beast, he kind of dwarfs her. Either way, I still think they look awesome standing together. Please, Hot Toys, give us Tim Drake Robin and Dick Grayson Nightwing. You've already shown Nightwing, just make it happen. Because the Bat family in 1/6 scale will be a sight to behold. Either way, I'm still glad we got her. These two are going to look awesome for now, standing together in the display. Just going over articulation. Now bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now starting off with the head sculpt, we have two ball joints, one at the base of the head and another at the base of the neck. You get it going forward to about there, going back the full way, you get swivel and then of course pivot side to side. The arms will go up on super sturdy ratchets to there. They will of course go forward and back, also on very sturdy ratchets, and then you have a butterfly joint at the shoulder. You do have a swivel at the bicep, but it's on ratchets as well. The best way that I've found to move it is to bend the elbow and then hold the shoulder, then you can actually move it, otherwise it's relatively tricky to do so. You have a double bend at the elbow that does go past 90, plus a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. The torso does have multiple joints, and surprisingly, you get a decent range of motion forward and back. You get swivel and then of course some pivot side to side. Seeing as the legs are pegged in separately to the body, they are on ball joints. They ratchet forward to there. They will go out once again on ratchets to there. Swivel at the upper thigh. A single bend at the knee that does get you to 90, plus a ball joint down here for the ankle. Just going over the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is that there isn't a wire along the base of the cape. There are only wires on the vertical sections, which, yes, that does work quite nicely and they're sturdy enough, but if you want to get it nicely draping down behind her, it's rather hard to accomplish. If there was a wire along the bottom, just like they did with Lando, I reckon this would have been a lot easier to work with. Now before I mention this, I just want to say that it's completely a non-issue for me. I actually really like the way they did this, but some people have pointed out, yes, there is a gap between the upper torso and the legs. These are pegged in separately to the body. That means you can get maximum range of motion without damaging anything. If these were fully encased in rubber, if you move them, it would get all bunchy and look all kinds of awful. So I'm really glad they did it. But yes, I totally understand there is a gap between the torso and the legs. The third annoying thing, and it's a very minor one, in fact some people may actually like it, but it's the fact that they use gold on the gauntlets, the chest logo and the belt. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be this color that they used on the boots. I just looked up some CGI models and as far as I can tell, this is accurate, but it's supposed to be this color on the rest of the suit. The first cool thing, and I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be saying this, but it's the rooted hair. I actually love it. It's styled perfectly, it's out the back so it's not going to cause you any fuss whatsoever. Plus, it'll allow for maximum range of motion without really detracting from the look of Batgirl. The second cool thing is the super simple yet super effective mouth swapping gimmick. They're magnetic and both of them, in my opinion, capture the look of Batgirl from the game. The third cool thing is the engineering for the leg joints. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but I sure as heck hope to see it again. The upper thigh is this rubbery armored piece. The lower shin section is covered with her boots all the way up to the knee, but there is a cutout around the back, and as you can see on the inside, there's a separate stretchy material. That means this piece doesn't go all the way down to her ankles, it's a separate attachment, where the boot just simply glides over the top and doesn't put any stress at all on the knees. I absolutely love the way they've done this. Just wrapping up on the Hot Toys Arkham Knight Batgirl. Now this figure has been a long time coming, and I know I already kinda spoiled it earlier when I said, yes, she's worth the wait. She absolutely was. It seems like Hot Toys was spending those months and years perfecting this figure to the nth degree, because I've never seen an Arkham figure be able to pull off a pose like this and not stress me out for fear of damaging the suit over a long period of time. This figure has made concessions in very well hidden places to get this done and not stress out anything. That is an awesome thing and something that I hope to see more from Hot Toys going forward. I love the way the figure looks. She comes with a ton of awesome accessories, and those swap out mouth plates are just the icing on the cake. If you were on the fence about picking up Batgirl, which I don't know why you would be, because we've never had a Barbara Gordon figure in 1/6 scale before, and we may never again until the HBO movie comes out. We'll have to wait and see, but for now, this is the only one that's available, and she is badass. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is down in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. While you're down there, check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.